What is at the root of these labor issues? Could it be greed? Could it be consumer demand? Let's talk about it. Welcome to Vanity Table Talks, where we talk fashion, beauty, and lifestyle news. Today, I have some news for you. So, Dior is in the news as allegations against one of their possible subcontractors accused of labor exploitation was reported. I have included a link to the article in the description. You may have seen other videos with reactions to this news. This video, however, is slightly different from others. I focus on two questions in an effort to get to the root of the labor issues. 1. Could it be consumer demand? 2. Could it be greed? Disclaimer: everything I say in this video is alleged and my own opinion. It is also not financial advice. I do recommend that you do your own research before making any decisions. I am also not affiliated with any brands, companies, or news outlets discussed in this video. Today, we are talking about Dior, a brand that I have purchased from in the past. I have purchased handbags, SLGs, and beauty products. But Dior actually sells more than just leather goods. According to Yahoo Finance, Christian Dior SE, through its subsidiaries, engages in the production, distribution, and retail of fashion and leather goods, wines and spirits, perfumes and cosmetics, and watches and jewelry worldwide. Now, I have been following this story, and a lot of what I have heard focused on the price of a Dior bag versus the cost to produce. I do understand the shock factor, as there is a huge difference in the cost listed in the article and the price we as consumers pay for a Dior bag. The article, titled LVMH's Unit Put Under Court Administration in Italy Over Labor Exploitation, by Reuters, revealed that the bags cost as little as 53 euros, approximately $57 USD, to make. The article doesn't include the name of any specific Dior handbag or any details on exactly what is included in the cost. So we don't know if this includes all of the cost, such as the materials and labor directly used to create the product. To make sure we are on the same page, I have defined the cost of goods sold here. And here is the formula for cost of goods sold. I have also defined cost of sales. So because Dior does provide a product and services, cost of sales is used. Here is the formula for cost of sales. Because the cost is from one subcontractor accused of labor exploitation, I'm going to take the cost with a grain of salt. To be fair, without knowing the specifics, like 1, whether materials are already paid and provided by Dior. 2, whether parts of the bag come pre-assembled, it is hard to determine what the cost actually includes. Now, I'm not saying that the price that we pay as consumers is justified by the cost of sales. According to Vogue, the industry standard for a profit margin is between a 2.2 and 2.5 times markup. So I'm just saying that there is probably more to the cost. There is labor costs. This is the most obvious cost. On average, it can account for 70% of a business's cost. According to Globe Newswire, Dior employs 213,000 people as of year-end 2023. Also, Dior has 118 production facilities and craft workshops in France and 26 in Italy. The source doesn't disclose if those facilities are contractors or subcontractors. However, at the rate Dior is producing luxury goods, I suspect that multiple suppliers are used. Since suppliers are typically sourced and contracted, there must be talent that handles contract management. When I worked in retail as a teen, the store had a contract with a guy who traveled to each store to decorate it. So there could be a number of contracts for a number of services. There is also corporate staff as well as the Dior boutique staff. Dior employs creative directors. Glassdoor.com estimated salary range for a Dior creative director is $137K to $231K. Then there are the designers. The handbags and clothing don't just appear out of thin air. The design process can be intense. A lot of hours can go into creating the perfect design. According to the company's income statement, the cost of sales was $26.8 million in 2023. Now, let's keep in mind that doesn't include marketing. What I've learned by reviewing Dior's income statement is that a lot is invested into marketing. According to the income statement, $30.7 million was spent on marketing in 2023. Wow. So Dior spent more on marketing than the cost of sales. I think we can determine how important marketing is to Dior. Look, that is a lot of money in marketing, but in my opinion, it seems to be working because as more money is invested, the revenue is also increasing. I'm not saying that's the only reason, but there seems to be a correlation. Based on the income statement, the marketing investments increased and the revenue increased over the past 3 years. Today, we see more and more celebrities and influencers doing ad campaigns for designer brands. Even if free products are given in exchange, there are costs associated with that. According to BOF State of Fashion 2022 report, Dior's try-on campaign resulted in over 6 times the return on the ad spend. So could it be that the marketing is working to increase demand? As consumers of the brand, we are the target audience. Our buying behavior is crucial. The cost to consumers is very important. It could be a symptom of a deeper issue. Let's continue to explore. Although I enjoy the creativity, today luxury brands are moving at a rate similar to fast fashion. It was said best by author Katerina Occhio. For years now, exclusive goods have been produced and sold by the millions in a shift towards high-margin mass production that has come with increased pressure on manufacturers and greater risks of labor exploitation. In an article titled "The Myth of Ethical Luxury" on businessoffashion.com. Now, I'm not making excuses. I don't agree with any company cutting corners and breaking laws to meet demand or for any reason. But as a consumer, I do think about my impact. That's why it is important for me to look at my consumption, which I admit in the past was a bit out of control. Yes, I have been guilty of overconsumption. I also realize that my past practices of overconsumption have attributed to certain outcomes. Although I can't go back and change it, I decided to put some measures in place to slow and even stop consumption in certain areas. Overconsumption will drive up the demand and in return can force companies to respond. Now, am I saying this justifies not doing due diligence and vetting contractors and subcontractors? Absolutely not. Ever wonder why the price of Dior bags are always increasing? Let's start with profit margin stability. One of the reasons companies raise prices is to protect the profit margin. According to the State of Fashion 2023 report to protect margins, nearly 3/4 of executives stated that they plan to increase the prices of their products. All kinds of issues like COVID, war, natural disasters, and so on can slow or stop operations. So there goes the reason for price increases during COVID. But now let's look at the spike in sales and revenue that had a positive effect on the profit margins during the pandemic, which in my opinion was an anomaly and should be treated as such. But for Dior, revenue decreased from $60.11 to $51 billion in 2020. This could have been due to the beginning of the pandemic and shutdowns. However, in 2021, Dior's revenue increased, but according to Statista, the net profit more than doubled, going from $5.46 billion to $13.9 billion. So, is there pressure to continue the record profit? Is it greed or is it business? It's actually standard business to protect the profit margin from outside factors like inflation. But companies can also protect the profit margin by lowering the cost of goods sold or cost of sales. According to the State of Fashion Report 2023, approximately 2/3 of executives said they are considering nearshoring, moving production closer to their home markets to adapt to unpredictable consumer demand. More than 60% of fashion leaders also said they were considering strategic partnerships with suppliers to increase their speed to market. Also, to create more efficient supply chains that will carry benefits for their businesses over the long term. In addition, to help mitigate the impacts of inflation on cost, over 60% of executives said they plan to optimize or renegotiate sourcing agreements. I would be interested in knowing what steps are taken to secure these agreements. Are these steps inadvertently putting pressure on suppliers to produce more for less? According to a Reuters article, prosecutors alleged that the violation of rules was not a one-off among fashion companies with manufacturing capacity in Italy, but systematic due to the need to pursue higher profits. So again, I ask, is it business or is it greed? But like I alluded to earlier, I don't agree that the costs justify the price. Why? Not because of the cost of sales, but because of the profit margin. As an investor, I know that a high profit margin can be an indicator of profitability. However, as a consumer, I don't like price increases. I know it is standard to protect the profit margin when the cost of goods or sales is predicted to increase and when inflation increases. But when has the cost of anything decreased? I'll wait. That's why I'm confused about YSL price decrease. Actually, I'm not, but that's another topic for another video. Click that notification button to be notified when I release that video. Back to Dior. In closing, it is unfortunate that workers are being exploited. However, I am happy that there are protections in place for those workers in Milan. I hope that they receive justice. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on the allegations. In this video, I covered two areas: consumer demand and greed. But what do you think could be at the root of the labor issues? If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like videos on fashion and beauty, subscribe to the Handbag Heaven. Also, follow the Handbag Heaven on Instagram. As always, thanks for watching.